Welcome, Scorpio. Thank you for joining me for your monthly forecast for June 2019. This month begins with the Sun and Mercury in the part of your chart that really does reflect the very passionate energies of your own zodiac sign. This is an opportunity for you to grapple in an emotional context about your very deepest connections. In a much more practical way, it can see you thinking about resources, whether it's property, business, perhaps even investments, if you're fortunate enough to be in that kind of situation, or perhaps even pensions and savings. All these things can come to the fore with the Sun's journey through this part of your scope. Also on the 3rd, there is a new moon. This new moon can bring extra energy to this area in a positive way. But it is true to say that in the very first week of this month, Venus, the planet of love and attraction, is forging an incredibly potent link to your modern ruler of Pluto. This suggests that you can really feel the benefits of any close involvement that's meaningful to you. It's almost as if even if there is someone who's been in your world for some time, their qualities just take on an even greater gravity. But then on the other hand, it could be that someone new is having a mesmeric effect upon you. But your pulse can definitely race a little quicker as this month begins because of that connection. Now on the 5th, Mercury is going to be relocating into your sister water sign of Cancer. Now you already have your traditional ruler of Mars in this location. And Mars is going to give you a bit of a push to be more experimental this month. Although you are a fixed sign, and of course you're water, you are someone who does tend to be very committed to situations. And then when change comes along, it can do so in quite a dramatic way. And this could be a pivotal month for change. Because Mars is very much about risk-taking. And Mars is also a very direct energy, so it's almost like if we want something, we want the instant gratification of getting that, whatever it is we desire, almost immediately. So in the 9th house, that is about freedom, it's about independence, it's about being more rugged physically. So if you're someone who enjoys travel or getting out in the great outdoors and doing anything to do with walking or running, swimming, cycling, anything like this, then that can be something that you can find really particularly captivating this June. But there's more than this, Scorpio, because also the North Node, the point of destiny, which is a very karmic link, which has been pulling you towards new possibilities ever since the start of November last year, that's forging a superb link with Neptune all through this month. So when it comes to the things that you might love, the things that you're really engaged by at a very passionate level, then I think there's a part of you that needs to experience the dream in real time. And Mars will give you the drive to actually pursue that possibility. So Mercury moving into this area too is just going to give you much greater mental capacity to absorb new ideas, to open up your world, to be more spontaneous. And some of this is counterintuitive because, as I say, there is part of you that likes to stick to what you know, but when change comes along, it does so in a very dramatic way. And in fact, on the 22nd of this month, the Sun itself moves into the sign of Cancer as well. So this Cancer energy where you need to feel how your emotions are running, but at the same time there's part of you that may want to have more space as an individual, may want to experiment, may want to get off the beaten track, may want to check out new interests or hobbies or people. You can really find yourself breaking out. But the thing is, there could be someone close to you who's much happier with the status quo. It could even be you who finds yourself conflicted between sticking with what you know and trying something different. And from the 10th through to the 18th, Mars, in this very experimental go-getting part of your scope, is in an opposition with the planet of discipline, Saturn. Now, equally, Saturn is very close to Pluto, your modern ruler, for the first 2 weeks of this month. So your ideas are going to have greater intensity, but they can also be changing. So you may find yourself from the 10th to the 18th going through some kind of inner tension. If you want to change something in your world, but you almost want to stick and cling on to what you're familiar with, or the ideas that have served you well for some time, that can create a kind of sense of frustration. You may find yourself irritable, or you may try to expand and do something so quickly you don't necessarily tend to think through the downside. You're almost too impulsive, which of course would be completely out of character. Even if you have jabs and moments of impulsiveness, generally when it comes to the big picture in your life, you are someone who's cautious with a capital C. So I think something is shifting in the tectonic plates of your life. You're wanting to be more experimental. You wanted to try different things. And in week 2 of this month, the Sun also in Gemini goes into an opposition with Jupiter. Now, when it comes to desire, this is kind of desire central, because whether it's someone you incredibly fancy, whether it's a big ticket material item that you really want, you've craved for this for some time, or you want to be a little bit more edgy in your approach to your resources, more minded to speculate, to accumulate, that energy can also take shape, crossing over the other energy that's in your situation, which is very much about your ideas and whether they're finding an outlet. Now, it's also true that from the 15th to the 24th of this month, your 2 rulers of Mars and Pluto go into direct combat. This opposition is not for the faint-hearted. It's possible that you could find yourself having a very direct reaction to someone that you encounter in your life, and you may find yourself wanting to defend yourself very viscerally when it comes to your personal communications, or even it could see you wanting to take on some kind of physical challenge, which is really difficult. For example, if you've ever fancied doing a marathon, then that's the perfect time to do it. But if you've also got a part of you that is attracted to something that's more edgy in the darker side of life, I would proceed with care. Certainly from the 15th to the 24th, those 9 days, is not the best of times to be travelling to any part of your locality or the world at large that is colloquially known as downtown. You want to stick to places that are a little bit more low crime, low risk, because if you do push yourself into a situation which is more challenging, it could actually have some consequences. Now, this brings us through to the full moon, which occurs on the 17th. And if you have been a little bit free and easy with your resources, the second half of this month is asking you to really screw down your temptation to splash out and be much more considered in your purchases. But by the 21st, we do have the summer solstice, the shortest day of the year. So it's a wonderful point of new beginning for the summer in the northern hemisphere. And then on the 22nd, the sun makes its way into the sign of Cancer, which again is going to reinvigorate that desire for fresh experiences. But what's really important to understand this month, Scorpio, is that both when Mercury moves and the Sun moves, so Mercury on the 5th and the Sun on the 22nd, they're both going to connect with Uranus, which is in your sector of relationships now. Now, of course, for 5.5 months of 2018, it was in your sector of relationships, but it was absolutely being battered by your traditional ruler of Mars, which was in a very sensitive zone for you around your emotions. And you may have felt quite defensive at times. But I think Uranus now in your sector of relationships is not forging that negative angle to Mars. In fact, it's forging this very enabling angle to Mercury and the Sun. And once more, it suggests that you may want to journey in new areas with new people who really switch on your mental energies. You may enjoy those outdoor pursuits that I was talking about. It may be that you want to hang out with someone who just makes you laugh a lot. There's a lot of sexual attraction, a lot of charisma, and that is entirely possible. Or it's entirely the case that some Scorpio people may actually want a period of spending more time alone to pursue more individualistic pursuits. So as this month draws to a close, my word, what a powerful month it will have been for you. It can be absolutely transformational, because even if you're someone who's embraced a particular set of philosophies for a very long period of time, these could shift in quite a radical way. On the other hand, it's possible that you may just encounter quite a lot of opposition to the ideas that you have, and people can be almost quite scorpionic to you. So you're someone who can be very blunt to other people, but actually quite secretive about your own insecurities. But someone could approach you, come into your orbit, who's actually much more like you and tells you straight what they don't like, which could actually be quite difficult for you to deal with. But it can be very positive if you can take it on the chin and understand that how other people see us is not necessarily how we see ourselves. And through this, a whole load of growth can occur. And I have to say, your chart is chock full of the potential for growth, the potential for excitement, the potential for engagement. And with Scorpio people, you generally do evolve through challenge. It's challenges that make you grow. If you're too much in the safe zone, you can become rather becalmed, and life can become rather dull. So it's a fantastic opportunity for you really to go for it and redefine who you are in the here and now, not continue to be the person that someone decided you would be a very long time ago. Thank you for having joined me at your monthly horoscope forecast. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you'd like to know more about what's going on in your situation, go on a journey of discovery beyond your zodiac sign by embracing your personal astrology. This is based on your time, date and place of birth. And if you no longer live in the same location where you were born, in terms of your forecasting, I can relocate you to where you are living now. Not a lot of services like this offer that particular feature. But equally, I use a form of forecasting called directions. This is where we take your personal horoscope when you were born, your natal chart, and advance it for roughly 1 degree for every year of your life. These are particularly impactful. The influence that they have on your natal positions, but also on moving planets that they impact upon now, the transits, really are very powerful. To find out about this, and also if you buy a character analysis and a forecast at the same time, I will give you a 30% discount. Please see the link beneath this video. This is an opportunity to understand some of the more trying patterns that have kept occurring in your life, but also to overcome them, but also embrace the positive opportunities you have to grow and to make the most of your innate talent and skills. And there will be information that can really take your breath away. It's so much more powerful than just your sun sign. Thank you.